You're tuned in to Just One Hot Mom with host Nanika Ansari. Get ready. She's about to bring you that fire, that flavor, that heat, all that passion, and more from around the world and in your neighborhood. Stay tuned.
Without further ado, I'd like to, if you don't already know, she is the most organized OCD person I know, and I love her. It's my sister, Ayesha.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know. Somewhere sound went out. You can hear me okay? Okay. All right. Here we go. I never did this live thing, y'all, so.
All right. So to start us off, can you tell us why we need to organize our lives?
Why we need to? So, well, just for me, I feel like I function better. I get more things done. But I read this book a couple of years ago. I was in this program, and it's called First Things First. It's by Stephen Covey, and he has a ton of books, but it's called, he's the author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And so one of the things that he says about in terms of doing a schedule or sticking to a schedule. He says our struggle to put first things first can be characterized by the contrast between 2 powerful tools that direct us, the clock and the compass. The clock represents our commitments, appointments, schedules, goals, activities, what we do with it, and how we manage our time. And the compass represents our vision, our values, our principles, mission, conscience, and direction, what we feel is important, how we lead our lives. And when I read that book and kind of did some of the activities from this book, I really started thinking through what organization looked like. And it kind of changed how my outlook, like organization is more than keeping your calendar or being organized on a calendar or having things organized in your home. So that's kind of where I started.
Okay, cool. So I'm glad you mentioned that because about like what tools can I want to ask like what tools can you get organized, but why do you think it's so much greater than just having tools to help organize your life? Why do you think it needs to be a mindset?
Really because we do what we value. So the mindset has to be our mindset has to be set on our values more than a calendar or more than completing a task or getting something done. Because if we value something and we care about it, we're obviously going to put more into it, and we're going to see it through. So organization, it really starts off with that compass that he talks about in his book. I started off like putting 5 things, not 10 things. Like, what are 5 things that I value in my life? And mine was, my first thing was God, my family, health, and then work. I didn't even have like 5 things. And so then you put those 5 things. I do this every weekend. I put those 5 things right in front of me. I laminate them because I'm the laminating queen.
I know.
I laminate them, and then that's how I plan my week. I look at what do I value first. I value God, so that needs to be in my calendar. My family, that needs to be in my calendar. Health, and whatever it is for my health, that needs to be part of my calendar. And then work, and then anything after that, if I have time to fit that in, then that's where it goes.
Okay, so what other tools are you using? So you have your mindset is set a certain way. What other tools are assisting you in helping you get to reach goals organized?
Yeah, so I use my planner, and I got my sister one for it. I love this planner. It's called The Inner Guide 2008. What'd you say?
I was going to say, hey, Latasha, go ahead.
So it's called The Inner Guide. And the thing that I love about this planner, it starts off with just having you look at yourself within. Looking at yourself, and that's creating the mindset of either mindset of change, of letting things go, renew, and it's also helping you. It has a lot of things in here to help you like focus on goals that you're trying to accomplish. So this is one of the tools that I use. I color code everything. Everything on my list is important, like God, family, health, work. I color code with highlighters. So those are some of the other tools that I use. And I also use Google Calendar, but I'm old fashioned too. So I do it on my calendar, on the computer and on my phone, but I also write it down, which really just lets me kind of jot notes down with it.
Okay, where did you get the calendar? I was asking, where did you get it?
So I got it on Amazon. It's $26.99. It's nice. It's leather. I don't know if you guys can see, but it has all these nice pages in it, and it's really durable, but it gives you a focus. What I like about it is it gives you a focus for each week. Let me see. So at the beginning of the month, you set your priorities for the month, and you get to put whatever you're prioritizing for the month. And for the week, it has you look at what's your positivity score, what's your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and then what's the results behind them. And then it has a section for what you're grateful for, and then it has a section for reflection and ideas, which is important. That's important in organizing, is having some reflection time. Oh, the name of it is Inner Guide. It's $26.99 on Amazon.
Okay,
and
information, all the information and the tools that she gives us today, you guys, I'm going to drop it on the page so you guys will have a link, so that way you don't do the wrong thing. You'll just be able to click a link and you'll be able to get that information. So, like you mentioned a good thing about, like how you judge your mindset, like God, family, and stuff. How do you get your family involved and organized? So, because it's like one thing for you to organize yourself. How do you get a whole household to be organized with you?
Yeah, so with my kids, I have one big calendar that's in our hallway upstairs. It's not downstairs, we're like in the kitchen where people normally keep their family calendar. It's upstairs, like when we walk out of our bedrooms. It's huge, and it's like a chalk calendar where we use chalk markers on it. And so I put their stuff, like they're color coded too. So they write in their stuff, and they are super organized, and they know, like, it's a family rule for us. It's like if they want to do something, they have to ask me on the Wednesday before. Obviously things are going to come up that that they didn't know about or whatever, but we are it is big, Tiff. It is, because when I walk out, boom, there it is. And everybody can see it. We can all see what everyone's doing, and it also brings like our family value and like valuing what each other is doing. We put our chores on there. Even my chores, even things that I'm doing around the house, so we can all see what everyone is doing, and we know what everyone's doing.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I think all too often people think that, you give chores out and that's all that you do, but you don't realize that you have chores that you need to do. I think it's good for the kids to see us hold ourselves accountable for what we have to do in the household as well. So I'm going back again to, like, what other tools besides the calendar and Google? So you said you use the Inner Guide calendar and Google. For me, I personally use Asana, and that's just basically, I think, especially as a business, if you're trying to grow a business, or you have projects that you're working on, this, like, I have like so many lists of projects in my Asana. Also allows you to give assignments to other people. So I assign something to my friends so that they can hold me accountable for what am I getting done. I think a lot of being organized too has to do with holding yourself accountable and making sure that other people are accountable too.
Yeah, and that's the other thing in terms of tools, is having, I think, an accountability partner. That's not like, oh, you didn't finish it next week. Like, no, you need somebody, real accountability, to hold you not just to tasks, but things just in general, things that you're trying to accomplish. If you're really trying to accomplish something, you're trying to go to the next level, you need to have someone that's holding you accountable to those things. And that's not always your friend, your home girl, but you need somebody like outside. I have a ton of people that I have accountability partners that's checking in on me. I don't use Asana. I have used it before, but I do use Google Task, and it's not the Google Task that's inside of the calendar. It's an actual download that sends different alerts. I also use Google Inbox, and you can get all of these off of Gmail. So if you go in and type in Google Inbox, it's a separate inbox that lets you set a time reminder, or if something is really important, it keeps popping up, like, you need to do this, you need to do this. So those are some of the other tools that I use.
And I think
the accountability is huge.
But yeah, I think people need to remember too is that you carry your phone everywhere with you, everywhere you go. I'm going to probably drive people crazy, but I have like multiple alerts on my phone to remind me to do stuff throughout the day. So like, even if I know like 30 minutes I need to be doing this, and after the 30 minutes I need to stop and move on to the next thing. Like, we have our phones with us everywhere we go. Why that as a tool to help you get organized? Now, I wanted to ask you this because this happens a lot, and I think this is what throws people's organization. You could be the most person, but when life gets interrupted, how do we focus and get ourselves back on track? You know, like, you'll be going throughout the week and everything will be fine, everybody will be healthy, and then boom, somebody gets sick, you bust a tire, something happens at work. How do you stay organized in the world when stuff is happening? How do we get
when life is happening?
right?
Yeah, I think that it's, you can't plan for everything. So one of the things, and we talked about this the other night when we had like our sister talk, but it's little by little. So don't try to make these huge big changes like I got to be so organized. It's little by little, and then it's not. Again, that's why I love that planner. It's some time to reflect. Okay, this didn't happen this week. It's okay. Life isn't over. Nothing ended. Nobody died. Hopefully, you know, and move on from there. What do you, and you use that tool or task, whatever happened, tire blowout. Okay, where do I need to go from here? And sometimes it's reevaluating day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute, and that's okay. It's okay to reevaluate. You don't have to have. I could wake up with this big plan. I got all this stuff to do. But for me, I pray about it. What am I supposed to do? What is supposed to work? What's not? And then go about your day in that sense. And just knowing that it's okay. Your schedule. And I was not always like that, because like if something happened, I lose it. And my best friend that's on here, she know I call her. I'm flipping out. Like, this didn't go my way. But I've learned over the years, like, this, it's okay. Life will go on. You'll be fine.
That's intimidating. I think getting organized is stressful. Like, for
me
personally, when I think about it, like, I can sit here with my calendar, I can have my phone, I can have my laptop, I can put everything together. But it's the thought of getting organized is stressful. How do we boost ourselves up to just be like, okay, get it done? Because I think about, like, when I get off a call with you, like, I'm like, okay, I got to get myself together for the rest of the week. But I also find that it stresses me out to a point where I can't get myself together.
Yeah. I think that, again, I think that you have to take it step by step, little by nothing is, Rome wasn't built in a day, like, so little by little we do tasks. If you're planning them out, I think, like, again, why I love the Inner Guide Planner, hey, they need to send me a free planner for putting y'all on. But I love the planner because it lets you think through the whole year. Like, this is what I want to accomplish. It's all these things. It lets you flesh out a lot of your thoughts, and then it makes them smaller. So you have this big vision, to start a business or just organize your house, So for me, that was one of the things, of organize my house. And I started with, hey, I got to do the house, and then the kitchen, and then putting some dates to it, and then put in little tasks like, hey, on the weekends, I'm going to do this. I'm going to, change this. And some of it is just changing your behavior. It has nothing to do with you organizing something. It's changing the way that you think and organizing yourself. Like, in terms of, stop doing, going to bed at midnight thinking that, you're going to be able to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and think fresh. Changing some of your behaviors changes the way that you're organized. And that's, for me, I had to start going a little bit early so I can wake up. When I wake up early, I wake up fresh, renewed, and I feel like I can attack the day.
And see, I'm just like, I think it's more so it's a shock to the system when you finally figure out a system that works for you. And then if that system gets interrupted, it's like, what do you do? But like you said, it's step by step, little by little. Every time you get to do something, always reset yourself. And I think that's the thing, though. It's like, we put these high expectations on ourselves because we want people to see that we've got it together. But you can always, your expectations are just that, your expectations. You can always readjust them. That's where we sit. It's like, we don't realize that we can readjust our own expectations.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, and we could adjust that daily, like minute by minute, hour by hour. If we need to readjust it, it's okay. It's our thing. We own it. And sometimes it's because we give people so much power over the things that we do. We let them organize us. We let our kids control us because their schedules. We like, oh, I got to do this. I got to take them there. We let everybody else control what we should be doing. And that's why I bring myself back to, like, my 4 things that are important to me is God, family, work, my health. So if it's not in that, it's like that visual that I'm sure many of you have seen where you add the big rocks in, and then you add the medium size in, then you put, you know, the stand around it. That's the stuff that can fit. It's really small, but we sometimes think it's so big and it's so huge and it's so overwhelming. It's really not.
And see, I'm glad you said that, because I was like, I really get overwhelmed, but you already know. Trying to get organized is overwhelming. Do you ever feel over organized though? Like I feel like I have so much together that it's like something is bound to go wrong. Do you ever feel like you're just over?
Yes, because I am crazy. No. Yes, I do. And that's where that's where I'm learning to tweak myself of not holding tight to my calendar or my schedule, like making times, living in the moment, in which I've struggled with many years of just living in the moment. So I think it is making time in your schedule. If it's not my 4 things that are important, then I need to make space for things to be spontaneous, things to be fun, things to not be so scheduled. Because I think when that happens, that's when you get frustrated, because you feel like you're always, always got to be somewhere, always got to do something, and it's so like, and then there's no happiness in it. You just feel like you're in this
You're
routine
just
and you
doing
have to
it.
keep going.
Yeah, you're living in the moment. You're not living in the moment. You're just going through the motions. Look, everybody wants Nisa to chime in on this chat. Not tonight, ladies. Not tonight. But the other thing is, too, do you think that we're teaching our kids to be overscheduled? Because, we get them involved in so many activities. There's swimming, or, there's sports, there's study, there's so many different activities going on in kids' lives. Do you feel like we're teaching them to be overscheduled and that we're burning them out early?
Yeah, I think that has to do more so. It's not really about organization. That's what we deem as success. If they're busy, and that's what we deem as success. If our calendar is full with things to do and events to attend, we're successful. If we're just sitting at home relaxing, that's not successful. So we're showing our kids that success comes from being busy, and that's not true. It's a lie that we're telling ourselves and we're teaching our kids, and that's why so many kids are burnt out. And by the time they're 25, they're going crazy. There is part of an organization that you keep yourself organized, but at the same time, I feel like when we have them doing every sport, they got to do every sport, every extracurricular, because they got to get in that college and they got to have it on their college application. We have them doing all those things, and it's just not wise. We're teaching them that success comes from being busy.
And so that's why I want people to start to realize that time is money and time is success. So the time that you put into something makes you successful, but the time that you put into yourself, and that time I'm talking about putting into yourself, is taking care of yourself, making sure that you're healthy, making sure that you're happy. I think a big part about being healthy is also getting happy. We live like a society where people can be so joyless sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like just going through the motions of the day, just to prove that they can do something, and all the time you're not happy. And I think when you're not happy, you're not healthy.
Yeah.
Excuse me, you guys. But do you ever feel like you just want to throw in the organizational towel? Like, you know what? Forget this. I'm just going to throw caution to the wind and do whatever I want to do.
I do sometimes. Because I'm human. Like, it's like, what? I'm sick of, I think with me, it's because I'm so obsessive with it sometimes. And like the other day, I was in the bathroom and I wasn't using the bathroom. I was just sitting on the toilet. How that mommy moment you have? You gotta hide in the bathroom. So I'm hiding in the bathroom, just trying to get a breather. And I'm looking around the bathroom and I've got everything labeled, and I'm just like laughing at myself, like, you are so crazy. Like, you got everything, prescriptions, stomach, headache or whatever. I'm like, but I want people to know where to go to get it. Even the towels, I have the towel, like, shelf labeled towels. They see it's towels. Like, why do I have that label? So I think, like, again, I think part of it is just learning how to live. It ain't no high speed. It's not. But I think part of it is learning how to live, and that's where the health comes in. And that's where the healthy, fit mom comes in, where we're enjoying life, where being so organized isn't taking over. It isn't OCD, or it isn't, something that we see as a daunting task. It's something that we see as enjoyable. Okay, I got my week planned out. I feel good about my week. And I feel good about going into it. It's not like making yourself crazy about thinking about a task to do or events that you have to attend.
And see, so I want you to give, like, for somebody who's not organized, because there's somebody listening or there's somebody watching right now who is not organized at all, but they want to be organized. What would be your top 3 tips to help them go get on the path to organization?
First tip would be get this book. This book has you one of the tools that they give you in this book is you log in everything that you do, like every hour, every minute, however you want to do it for a week, and looking at where you spend your time at, and then backtracking. Before you do that, they have you write down what are your top 5 things that are important to you, and then they have you track it for a week, and then they see, are you look at this and see where your time is spent. A lot of times it's not spent what we say is important to us. It's spent on these other things. So that'll be one tool. The other tool is the inner guide. I love it. It's not too late to get it. We only in February. You only missed a month, but at the beginning of the book, it has you do a lot of the planning beforehand. So it's perfect. The other tool that I would say is self-care. Self-care is organization. It's just caring for yourself and thinking through your needs. You need that mental break so that you're able to think through, what do I need to do next? And that you're able to build little by little steps. No big, like, I'm going to, remodel my house in a weekend type things.
And see, I think that's where we get overwhelmed. That is when we try to take that big leap and taking steps. And so I know you mentioned your book, but the book I think that changed the organizational game for me was because I am like very carefree, like whatever happens, I'm just gonna go.
You are. Drives me crazy.
But it was the year of yes. And I say,
oh yes, I love that book.
Often, but I was learning to say no too. And so it came a point, and when I was getting organized, that I had to learn to say no to some people in order for me to be organized. Like, people always expect, especially when they are used to you saying yes. So I never had a problem saying yes. I more so had a problem saying no. But then I was taught, like, in being organized is you value yourself. When you're organized and when you decide to take that step out and determine what organization means to you, you start to see a value in yourself go up. You start to see a little more confidence in yourself. And so you can tell people,
that's true.
You can tell people no, and you cannot feel guilty about it because you're making a commitment to yourself. So Ayesha, I'm gonna need you to repeat those books one more time for everybody. And then
yeah, and I'm dropping them in the comments too. So the first book is First Things First by Stephen Covey. And you know what, while you at it, order his other book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I love it. The other one is The Inner Guide Planner. It's amazing. One other website that I'll give a plug to that I love, and I'll drop it in here, is called Classy Career Girl. And she gives out 13 time managed habits of successful women. And they're really, really good. I have them in my book laminated because I love them. And she really kind of breaks it down. I would even subscribe to her blog. She has some really good stuff, especially if you're starting a business or trying to kind of form it. And you're like, all these ideas, if you're like me and you need some way to will it in, she's really, really good. It's a free website. And then the other one was Google Inbox. So if you go to Google and you type in Inbox, it's an add-on to Gmail. So I really love it, and you can also use it on your phone. So anything that you need to prioritize, it does it really, really well. So I love it.
And then I'll tell you guys about it. I'll drop the link to Asana, because Asana is, I'm going to turn you guys around, which is getting kind of loud in here. My bad. But Asana is basically a project working app. So you put in your different projects that you're working on, and then you assign at. But the other thing I like about it is that you can ask other people to come on and watch you as you progress through your project. You can ask them to coach you up. So, Ayesha, I want to thank you for coming on, for being our first run in the Hot Mommy World, and thank you for coming on this evening.
Thank you for having me.
All the information will be available on our website, on the Just One Hot website. Oh, I'm sorry, hold on, we got a question. What happens when you have a job that takes up so much of your time? You're exhausted when you get off, and you're exhausted when you go. Do you have any advice for that? Let's wrap up with that question.
Oh, I don't want to say like obviously like, oh, we'll get another job. That's not, I mean, we all can't, that's not really feasible. But what I would say is starting to examine what are your steps if that job is exhausting like that, like what are your steps of changing your career or changing that job? And not saying going in and handing your 2-week notice. That's not the little by little that I'm talking about. Little by little is examining like, hey, this is really exhausting me. Not just being here, like I'm exhausted even before I get there. That's a problem. That's messing with your health, because I always think of, when I think of jobs, it's like if I die tomorrow, somebody's gonna take this job and continue on, sadly, but that's what happens. So when you think about that, just think about what do you care about more, and you love yourself more, of thinking through how do I get, start sending my resume out, start doing the things that I need to do to maybe shift in jobs. And also with exhaustion, maybe changing your diet, which healthy moms, and maybe creating some space for you really just to wind down, before you go to work and when you get home.
And I will say this too, like even sometimes you have a job that you love, but the job is just exhausting to you. Is that you have to take time. You have to take time and do the job within the time frame that you're supposed to get the job done. See, we have so many thoughts and reflections like if I don't do it, no one else will. But like she said, if we're gone tomorrow, somebody will replace. And so within the time frame, something you love, but leaving it there and not with you home. Like, we hear you. But I want to thank Isha for coming. Guys, use the tools to get to organize life. The information about the books, available on the Just One website, they will also be available in this group. Also, you guys, the broadcast that you see here will also be available on the podcast, and we're going to replays available on the YouTube channel. So when they go up, we will repost them because I'm not sure how long Facebook keeps these lives going. But I want to thank you for coming on. I will see you all. Stay healthy.
Bye.